These pants don't work well. Okay.
Their gratitude for being able to serve in the same community they were a product of. For more news impacting the Black community, listen to the Black Information Network on the iHeartRadio app or log on to BINnews.com. I'm Amber Payton along with Bree Woods on your home for 24/7 News, the Black Information Network.
CVS has everything you may need to get all the fun out of that last bit of summer. From travel products and beauty needs to health services from Minute Clinic, so you won't miss a minute of the sunshine. Learn more at CVS.com.
If you've got a story, we want to know about it. Call the Black Information Network hotline at 855-500-9BIN.
Device to play the Black Information Network on the iHeartRadio app. Headlines every 30 minutes. Breaking news at once.
The Black Information Network. The Bay Area's BIN 910. Your money on the Black Information Network.
If you are thinking about buying a house, you should know that mortgage rates are up for the third week in a row and are just under 7%. The 30-year fixed-rate mortgage averaged 6.96% this week, according to data from Freddie Mac. Compare that to a year ago when it was just over 5.2%. Freddie Mac's chief economist says these steadily high rates will prolong affordability challenges for longer than expected. Meanwhile, for older Americans, medical debt has soared to $54 billion in unpaid bills. According to a federal watchdog report, it is partly because medical providers are charging elderly patients the full price of an expensive medical service rather than work with the insurers that are supposed to cover it. Nearly 4 million older Americans reported unpaid medical bills, even though 98% of them have insurance. So how about a part-time job to help pay some of those medical bills? Look up the Senior Community Service Employment Program. That federal program pays seniors to work 20 hours a week. Money news at 24 and 54 minutes past each hour. I'm Nicole Gill on your home for 24/7 News, the Black Information Network, and BINnews.com.
Trusted Black News.
The Black Information Network. The Bay Area's BIN 910.
I'm Bree Wood. And I'm Amber Payton on your home for 24/7 News, the Black Information Network. A black nurse in Napa County, Minnesota, has been sentenced to 6 months in jail for assaulting a white coworker.
According to an insider, 72-year-old Sybil Garbo says she was acting in self-defense at Touchstone Mental Health, where she was employed. She was cleaning a desk with disinfectant spray when she says she was shoved by a white nurse who thought she was intentionally spraying her. Garbo hit the woman in the head with a spray can and fled the room. She must also pay more than $50,000 in restitution. Garbo says she believes she was treated differently because she is black. I'm Mimi Brown on the Black Information Network.
Soldiers stationed in Texas are having a hard time with proper access to food options. Military.com reports Fort Cavazos, formerly known as Fort Hood, has trouble keeping its food services steady due to operational deployments, missions, meal training, and other events. As a result, it's hard to keep the dining hall staffed. The base has only had 2 of its 10 major dining options open every day for most of the summer, with 3 others open only during limited times. Army officials are deciding if soldiers should be able to use their meal cards at non-military affiliated restaurants on base. Health officials are warning that all signs point to another summer COVID surge. New data from the CDC shows that COVID hospitalizations increased during the last week of July by more than 12%. According to The Hill, after months of decline, reported cases are slowly rising. Baylor infectious disease expert Dr. Peter Hota says this is a nationwide trend.
The good news was a few weeks ago we were about the lowest we've been in the United States, but now it looks as though the cases are going up.
More than a 20% increase in new COVID hospitalizations were reported in several states, with the biggest increase in New Hampshire at 96%. Health experts say Pennsylvania is stopping further spread. And Dr. Cynthia Bailey Mans has been selected by Pope Francis to participate in this year's Synod of Bishops. According to American Magazine, Dr. Bailey Mans, who is black, will make history as one of the first people as not an ordained minister to be a full voting member of the Catholic Church's consulting body. She will be representing the U.S. at the meeting this October in Rome, Italy. She has a doctorate of ministry degree and is an adjunct professor at United Theological Seminary of the Twin Cities in Minnesota. I'm
Avery Wood along with Amber Payton on your home for 24/7 News, the Black Information Network. Now here's Mike Island with your Healthy Minute.
If someone you care about is ever affected by interstitial cystitis, or IC, you may be glad to learn a few facts. First, IC is a serious and chronic health problem that feels like a urinary tract infection, also called painful bladder syndrome. It can affect anyone. There is no known cause or cure, but once it's been diagnosed, which can take years, doctors and patients try to find effective treatments to reduce symptoms and improve quality of life. These can include diet changes, reducing stress, physical therapy, and medication. In addition, there are a number of promising clinical trials testing potential new IC treatments by many health associations solely dedicated to improving the lives and health of people with IC. The organizations also offer advice about diagnosis and treatment, access to leading medical professionals, and information about research and support groups. You can learn more about interstitial cystitis at cdc.gov. And that's your Healthy Minute. I'm Mike Island on the Black Information Network.
Black news, black podcast. This is the Black Information Network.
The Bay Area's BIN 910.
Will they find a home? Sponsored by Geico. Sarah wants a yard, my own little paradise. Brad, however, hates yard work.
The only thing I hate more than cutting the grass is paying someone to cut the grass.
Compromise is tough, but these two won't have to compromise when they bundle home and car insurance with Geico. It's easy, and they could save even more. In the end, Sarah and Brad found a great home with a yard. Small yard.
Time to get it done. And I'm done.
Bundling without compromise at Geico.com.
Fair Fight promotes fair elections around the country by encouraging voter participation, providing election education, and voter suppression outreach. To learn more, log on to fairfight.com. That is fairfight.com.
Our news. Available anywhere. Tell your smart device to play the Black Information Network station on iHeartRadio. 9:10 a.m. KKSF, Oakland, the Black Information Network.
Tell your smart device to play Bay Area's BIN 910 on iHeartRadio.
I'm Doug Davis, and here's the latest from the Black Information Network. Atlanta, Georgia is preparing for another busy weekend of superstar Beyonce returns with 3 shows at Mercedes-Benz Stadium starting tonight. 2 suspected street racers are behind bars and facing murder charges after a pedestrian was hit and killed in South Los Angeles, California. The 20-year-old woman was hit while crossing a street on July 21st. A trailblazer who became the first black head coach at the University of Tennessee, Chattanooga, has passed away. Henry Dickerson died last evening at the age of 71. Dickerson stepped up to take the reins of the team before the 1997-1998 season. During the next 5 seasons, Dickerson's team won 2 Southern Conference South Division championships. And that's the latest. Have a great Friday and a safe weekend. I'm Doug Davis from the Black Information Network and BINnews.com.
I'm Vanessa Tyler.
And I'm Mike Stevens on your home for 24/7 News, the Black Information Network.
Amid the yelling, a witness says she heard it. The N-word, directed at the black co-captain in the now infamous Montgomery, Alabama dockside brawl. TMZ identifies the witness as an employee of the riverboat who told police she heard expletives, the N-word, and one of the white men threatening to get his gun. The black co-captain had been trying to get the white people to move their small boat out of the reserved space of the riverboat so the passengers can disembark. Although the assault on the co-captain is not a hate crime now, there is the possibility of adding it to the white men who are arrested and charged.
Lawyers say the N-word was used when members of a supremacist group, the Patriot Front, allegedly defaced an Arthur Ashe mural in 2021. The mural, in honor of the African-American tennis great, was in a predominantly black neighborhood in Richmond, Virginia. Now that it is time to face justice, the suspects have failed to show up to court to respond to the lawsuit against them. Lawyers for those suing say the act was not to intimidate black residents. Well, the argument did not work, with the accused not appearing. A default judgment could make them liable for the damage to the mural.
And prosecutors say it was hate. And now a high school teen faces murder as a hate crime.
Approaching a railroad crossing.
Death in of a black gay professional dancer. O'Shea Sibley and his friends were being themselves, dancing joyfully to Beyonce music at a gas station in Brooklyn when prosecutors say the teen and his group demanded they stop dancing while spouting racist and homophobic slurs. And a black father was showing his adult son no love. Police in Cocoa, Florida say the father was arrested for trying to kill him. 62-year-old Byron Jones faces charges of attempted first-degree murder and charges related to domestic violence with a deadly weapon. His son, 38-year-old Nicholas Jones, was in cuffs too for crashing his Nissan into his father's garage. He faces vandalism charges.
Those heading to college soon will be gathering their things, and more students are packing up, heading to HBCU Morgan State, where the Washington Post reports enrollment is surging. So much so, the Maryland College, based in Baltimore, has run out of space to house more than 9,000 students enrolled this fall. As a solution, the university has to partner with a local hotel. Now, if you'd like to connect with the Black Information Network on social media, we would certainly love for you to do that and give us your feedback. You can follow the BIN on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. Here's how. At Black Information Network, and on Twitter, it's at BlackInfoNet.
I'm Vanessa Tyler with Mike Stevens on your home for 24/7 News, the Black Information Network.
On the Black Information Network, 1908 a group of black and white leaders joined together to form a new permanent civil rights organization, the National Association for the Advancement of Human Beings, NAACP. February 12, 1909 was chosen because it was the NAACP has worked to achieve its goals: judicial system, lobbying, and peaceful protest. In 1910, Oklahoma passed a constitutional law allowing people whose grandfathers had been eligible to vote in 1866 to register without passing a literacy test. The NAACP challenged the law and won a legal victory in 1915 when the U.S. Supreme Court ruled that grandfather clauses were unconstitutional. In 1954, the NAACP Legal Defense Fund, led by Thurgood Marshall, argued the Brown versus Board of Education case, where the U.S. Supreme Court struck down the separate but equal doctrine of public schools. And that's that. For these stories and more, go to DashCam.com. Your story is our story.
The Black Information Network.
Bay Area, BIN 910.
I'm Natasha Williams on your home for 24/7 News, San Francisco's BIN 910. Yahoo News is reporting a strong majority of black California voters believe that the legislature is responsible to provide more funding in schools for the lower performing students, according to a survey released Tuesday by the Black in School Coalition. The fact is that 84% of those surveyed want education funding to target low-performing students in California speaks volumes, and we need to see action from the legislature, said Adande Mack, Senior Director of Education at Children Now, in a statement. As a group, polled more than 11,000 black California voters on education and found that 73% believe that allocating additional money based on student performance would improve education for black students. 3% said chronic absenteeism is an urgent problem for California schools to address. And investigators looking into an incident where racist slurs were found sprawled on a business in Fairfield. The Ronald County Sheriff's officials say someone used red paint to write the slurs and draw swastikas on the walls of Thompson's Corner Saloon. The hateful messaging was found Tuesday. Deputies say they hope surveillance video footage from the area will help them identify a suspect in the case. You got that for real. What is here?
I got a problem with authority.
That's African-American actor Tyrese Gibson, and he's taking Home Depot to court over an incident of alleged racial profiling in a California store. The Fast and Furious actor has filed a lawsuit against Home Depot for civil rights violations. He and two of his associates were victims of racial profiling by a cashier and
approaching a railroad crossing
in West Hills back in February. In the lawsuit, Gibson says the cashier refused to allow his friends to pay for the items at the store with Gibson's credit card and then continued to obstruct the purchase when Gibson came back inside. The actor says the manager also caused problems for the group before the cashier finally allowed the purchase to take place. Gibson says the actions of both the cashier and the manager were racially motivated, and he's seeking $1 million in the lawsuit. Representatives from Home Depot have not commented on the lawsuit. And in other news, a new walking tour claims to show people the worst of San Francisco. The Downtown Doom Loop walking tour is set for August 26th and is already sold out according to organizers. The $30 tour will start at City Hall and will go through Mid-Market Street, the Tenderloin area, and Union Square. Tour officials say those who participate will view the open-air drug markets, the abandoned tech offices, and the deserted department stores. And that's a look at what's going on around the Bay Area. For more on these stories and international, national, state, and local news affecting the Black community, listen to the Black Information Network on the iHeartRadio app or log on to BINnews.com. On social media, follow the BIN on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok at Black Information Network, and on Twitter, now X, at BlackInfoNet. I'm Natasha Williams on your home for 24/7 News, San Francisco's BIN 910.
Want to make a difference? African American patients only have a 25% chance of finding a bone marrow match. Make a difference and join the National Bone Marrow Registry at bethematch.org. Because trust matters.
The Black Information Network. The Bay Area's BIN 910.
Lonnie Johnson, an African-American NASA engineer, was developing an environmentally friendly heat pump when he tested the prototype in his bathroom, aiming it at the bathtub. The nozzle let off a powerful stream of water when he pulled the lever. In 1986, Johnson was given a patent for his new invention, and 3 years later, the invention, initially called the Power Drencher, was sold to the Laramie Corporation. The Power Drencher made very little impact when it originally hit the market in 1990 and was pulled from shelves. However, after further tweaks and repackaging, it re-entered the market as the Super Soaker. From up to 50 feet away, taking the toy market by storm and generating $200 million in sales in 1995 alone. However, Johnson was dissatisfied with his share of the royalties, and in 2013 took Hasbro Inc., who acquired Laramie Corporation, to court. Johnson would be awarded nearly $73 million in royalties, and that's a fact. I'm Terrence Bibb on the Black Information Network.
Your news at the sound of your voice. Tell your smart device to play the Black Information Network station on iHeartRadio.
The stories that are important to you.
A man has pleaded guilty to vehicular homicide for mowing down two protesters with his car in Seattle on a 24/7 news network.
A higher number of preterm births among Black mothers results in major health disparities later in life,
Giving voice to the Black community.
All people that involved will be held accountable. This is the Black Information Network.
The Bay Area's BIN 910 and on the iHeartRadio app.
For the seventh summer in a row, Chevrolet has teamed up with the National Newspaper Publishers Association to help drive the future of journalism and marketing. They've selected some of the best and brightest HBCU students to experience the 2023 Discover the Unexpected Fellowship.